Welcome back to True Crime and More, the podcast. In this week's podcast, we'll learn about the Zodiac Killer. He killed 5 to 7 people. The police say he did, though he claims he killed 37. He killed through the 60s to the late 80s. On December 20th, 1968, he killed David and Betty Lou Jensen on Lake Herman Road in Benicia. On July 4th, 1969, he killed Michael and Darlene in Blue Rock Springs in Vallejo. On August 2nd, 1969, his first letter arrives to the Chronicle. At this time, he is not calling himself the Zodiac Killer. The San Francisco Examiner and the Vallejo Times-Herald both received similar letters to the Chronicle. September 27th, 1969, he strikes again. This time killing Cecilia and injuring Brian Hartnell. Some people believe that he was the Zodiac Killer. October 11th, 1969, he killed Paul Stein, a cab driver. It should be noted that during the crime scene, a man who fit the description was seen walking away, but he was let go due to the fact that the dispatcher said the killer was African American. 4 days later, the Chronicle gets another letter from the Zodiac. This time, the letter contains a bloody piece of Stein's shirt. 7 days after this, a man claiming to be the Zodiac calls the Oakland Police Department. The caller says he wants to talk to Melvin Bellini on a TV talk show. The caller doesn't show up. November 12th, he sends another letter to the Chronicle, this time with a new cryptogram where he claims credit for 2 more murders, but the police only credit him for 5. December 27th, he sends another letter saying, "Please help me, I am drowning." The letter contains another piece of Paul Stein's shirt. January 25th, 1970, another cab driver, Charles Jarman, is killed, this time a few blocks from where Paul Stein was killed. March 22nd, Kathleen Jones is driving with her newborn daughter on Highway 132. Near Montecito, when a driver flashes his headlights at them, they pull over, and the man takes them on a ride. When Kathleen finally gets out, a few weeks later, the Chronicle gets another letter from the Zodiac. He also took credit for the incident. April 22nd, the Chronicle gets yet another letter. He writes that he has now killed 10 people. He includes, "P.S. I hope you have fun trying to figure out who I killed." October 12th, the Chronicle gets a postcard from him with 13 holes punched out. 14 days later, the Zodiac sends Paul Avery, who was a reporter for the Chronicles, a Halloween card saying, "You are doomed." March 16th, 1971, the Los Angeles Times receives a letter from the Zodiac, who has been silent for 5 months. 10 days later, he sends yet another postcard to the Chronicle. Nearly 3 years later, he sends another letter to the Chronicle, claiming his kill count is now 37. April 26, 1978, the Chronicle reports has received its first letter from the Zodiac since 1974. The Zodiac writes that San Francisco Police Inspector David is good, but I am smarter, and he tells the Chronicle columnist Herb, "I am here." October 15th, 2002, working with DNA evidence, San Francisco homicide inspectors believe they may have cleared Zodiac's suspect Allen, but the testing would later prove to be inconclusive. Allen remains the only suspect ever named in the Zodiac killings. April 2nd, 2004, the case is closed. 2018, a cold case group claims to have solved who the Zodiac Killer is, but as far as I know, the Zodiac Killer is still unknown. Theories. Theory 1. Earl Van Best Jr. He bears an uncanny resemblance to the composite sketch, and his name also matches the number of characters in the My Name Is cipher. Theory 2. Lawrence Kane Kane. Kane was involved in a car accident that resulted in brain damage influencing his behavior. Kane can be seen in the My Name Is cipher. Kane followed and harassed Darlene in the weeks leading up to Darlene's murder. Dawn is a cop who had possible contacted the Zodiac after this night killing. Also, he said that in the hundreds of pictures he had been shown over the past 20 years, Kane also lived near the victims or near the locations of their deaths. Theory number 3, Arthur Lee Allen. Allen told his family he was going to Lake Berryessa. He came home covered in blood and had a bloody knife in his car. A friend of Allen said that Allen referred to himself as the Zodiac before the killer did. When Allen was interviewed, he said that his favorite book was Most Dangerous Game, which is a Zodiac reference in his first letter to the police. Allen was sent to jail for 3 years, and during this time, no Zodiac letters were received. It should also be mentioned that every time he went to jail, the Zodiac killer stopped. Also, one of the people who survived picked Allen out of a lineup of photos as the killer. That concludes this week's podcast.